Ladies and gentlemen, pilots across the frontier, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a positive day. The energy is flowing, it's rocking and rolling, and we're here today to continue our sort of Titanfall 3, if it's actually a thing, theory crafting series. Now, in the first video, we talked a little bit about cosmetic progression and customization for pilots in what could be Titanfall 3, and today we're going to focus on the Titans themselves. Now, we're not going to talk so much today about cosmetics or progression. I really just want to talk about how the Titans could potentially exist in Titanfall 3. Now, this is, of course, my own personal theory and my own personal opinion. That, of course, is the entire point of this series. So feel free to chime in with your personal theories and opinions at any time down in the comment section below. Although I do ask that you watch the entire video and kind of base it off of the perspective, the discussion that I'm trying to have here. Now, I've taken a lot of things into consideration when I think about the Titans in Titanfall 3. I think the biggest one for me was asking myself, what direction would Respawn go with Titanfall 3? The direction that Titanfall 1 went, or the direction that Titanfall 2 went? Now, we could sit here and go down both roads and spend like 3 hours talking about either side of the coin. And I think a lot of people talk about wanting to have that extra customization that we had in Titanfall 1. The ability to pick your own chassis and mix and match it with whatever weapons and whatever abilities you want. Build your own Titan, if you will. It's like going into Build-A-Bear, except they give you the ability to choose between the Atlas, the Strider, and the Ogre, right? It's like, hey, which one you want? And by the way, adult supervision is required at all times for anyone under the age of 5. You don't want kids stomping through the city, crushing cars with their Ogre-class Titan, all right? I think a lot of people like that. They like that ability to customize and build their own Titan. But one could say that Titanfall 2 was more successful because it decided to go sort of the hero shooter route, and it gave us locked Titans with their own specific loadouts, their own personalities, their own chassis designs, their own AI voices. And I will say that I think there is some sort of a charm to the way in which they handle Titans in Titanfall 2. The same sort of charm that exists with the heroes in a game like Overwatch and the operators in a game like Rainbow Six Siege. People actually latch onto the personalities, to the characters, to their abilities, and they create sort of an alliance or an allegiance with those characters. I mean, come on. Do we need to look at Ishii and Mecha and Iniquity and Ronin to really look any further? Do we need to look at the hatred, the disdain for Tone, the love that so many people have for North Star? You know, like, there's such a powerful connection between the members of the communities and the Titans. There's rivalries that have been created. That is a really powerful thing. So when I even think about Respawn removing that, I'm like, are we all losing our minds? It's probably one of the best things about Titanfall 2. And as much as I want more customization, I don't think going completely back to the way things were in Titanfall 1 is the path for Respawn to take. I very much do think they're going to continue forward with what we see here in Titanfall 2. However, now that they've built this roster of Titans, they have an opportunity to improve the Titans that already exist and add maybe another 6 or 7 Titans to the roster. You know, we have Monarch that was added in as well. That was one Titan that was added. That already shows a sort of commitment, or at least an attempt, an experiment from Respawn to add one Titan to the roster. So Titanfall 3, maybe we have, 10, 12, 13 Titans that launch. Now all of a sudden we've got more variety, we've got more diversity, and we have more opportunities for each and every player out there on the frontier to find a Titan that they can connect with from a personality standpoint, but more importantly from a gameplay standpoint. Ooh, I like this new Titan called a Razor. I don't know. I can't think of a good name right now. Maybe his name is Pantha Cheater Man. Mecha Pantha Cheater. Yeah, wait, that's it, guys. Mecha Panther Cheetah. Yeah, that sounds like a badass Titan, doesn't it? Well, as it turns out, Dave over there loves Mecha Panther Cheetah. And then his friend Sam, he's all about carp mecha fish guy. Okay, I lost it. Let's move on. You get the point, though, right? Players have found a way to develop a pretty fond connection with the Titans that we have in the Titanfall 2 roster. So if Respawn can take that concept and run with it even more in Titanfall 3 and maybe inject a little bit more diversity into the Titans, give them some of their own unique abilities, expand the roster, I really can't see that as a bad thing. I think embracing that hero shooter concept a little bit more in Titanfall 3 could be a good thing. The one thing I don't see them doing, which is something that I know many of us have talked about in the community in the past, is including any sort of a real healing or tanking role. While I like the idea, very much so, was having an actual holy trinity for the Titan side of things. And one could say that the split between the pilot portion of the game and the Titan portion of the game would now be more substantial, more diverse, and that could be a good thing. I think the problem lies within how Titanfall is currently perceived. When you look at the pilot side of Titanfall, it's not very heavily team-oriented, and neither is the Titan side of things subsequently in Titanfall 2. Unless you're playing an actual competitive environment or with a group of people, the game still has that Call of Duty vibe, where one player can top the leaderboards and carry the team. So if suddenly the Titans were very team-focused and there was like a holy trinity, it would allow teams to, number one, stomp much harder, and I think it would create an unexpected juxtaposition. You know, players would be playing the pilot portion of the game, just doing their own thing, carrying their team, and then all of a sudden they're in Titans and they have to try and cooperate with a group of randoms. So unless the pilot side of the game also embraced that same sort of ideology, and we suddenly had a game that had the same sort of teamwork component that Overwatch has, I don't think that would work out entirely. That's just my thoughts. I think they have to continue to embrace the thing that has allowed Titanfall 2 to be more successful than Titanfall 1, and that is to allow it to sort of just carry that same sort of Call of Duty-esque vibe. Saying all of this, though, I want to remind you that Respawn really knows how to experiment and surprises, so there's a good chance that everything I say here will be wiped completely clean and Respawn will do something completely different for Titanfall 3. But that's honestly the biggest route I can see them taking, and the thing I like about them doing the 10 or 12, you know, sort of named hero shooter style Titans for Titanfall 3 is that they can maybe bake in a little bit more balance where it's necessary. I don't want the whole game to be flawlessly balanced. That's impossible, and we know that that can ruin fun. But I do think it's important for them to maybe create an environment where they can do away with Titan stacking. You know, there are a lot of issues that are caused by certain Titans being stacked in Titanfall 2. And while it doesn't happen that much anymore, when it does happen, I feel like it breaks the fun, it breaks the enjoyment of the Titan sometimes. So if we had a roster that was, you know, 12, 14 Titans deep, you could set it up like Rainbow Six Siege and like Overwatch, where one Titan per team. Simple as that. Your team can have one tone, their team can have one tone, your team can have one Ronin, their team can have one Mecha Panther Cheetah. Man, I can't say that. Mecha Panther Cheater. Try and say that 10 times fast. That's a new tongue twister. So I think that could be a really big benefit to them boosting the Titan roster and going that hero shooter route. When it comes to what I would like to see, if I'm just going to speak 100%, what's my personal, like, which one do I like the idea of more? The return of fully customizable Titans or continuing forward and further progressing the hero shooter concept? I love customization, guys, and I hope we see a lot more of it for the pilot side of things. But damn, I really do like that sort of bond, that connection that everyone has with their favorite Titans. I love the fact that I've been able to be a part of this awful meme with Tone for the last year, and I love the sort of Titan rivalry that everyone has, especially considering some people take it way too seriously, and that actually is kind of fun to watch from the perspective of, I get that it's just a game and that it's a joke. So I don't want that to go away, but that's not to say that Respawn couldn't bring back all of the old Titans and introduce new Titans and give us more customization options. I think that is the biggest thing that needs to happen. Regardless of my personal opinion, if they're going to go that route, we need to see mods and equipment and, you know, perks for the Titans that have more of an impact, that allow us to further customize how that Titan performs, because that then really expands the roster. And if you want to talk about boosting replayability for a first-person shooter like Titanfall, give people 10 to 12 Titans on a roster, and then give them maybe 3 different ways in which they could build out a Titan that actually makes a difference. You know, that gives you an incredible, that's what, like 36 different, that's more than that. It's more combinations than I have the time to do the math for right now. That gives you a lot of ways to play the game. So you can master one Titan in one spec, for example, with one selection of kits and mods, and then you can go back and re-kit them and mod them out in a different way and make them more effective in a different manner. That level of personalization within the gameplay design of the Titans could have huge, huge benefits down the line. So there you have it, guys. The theory crafting for Titanfall 3 continues. I've got a couple more of these videos planned for a couple different topics within the Titanfall experience. Of course, it was an opinion. It was very much my theory based on thoughts that I had, and I really want to hear yours. I like reading these when you guys, you know, come to the table and say, oh, well, you know, this was my experience as a recent player. This is my experience as someone who played since launch. Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's keep that discussion flowing. Let's keep the hype flowing for Titanfall 3. Really, the idea of this series is to see how long we can do this before Titanfall 3 finally gets announced. Yeah, we're going to run with that. I hope you guys have a great day, a killer weekend. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember to play smart, remember to play to challenge yourself, but most importantly, remember to play for fun.